So hey there, thanks for checking out my videos. I do greatly appreciate it. So normally we talk about things like car repair and maintenance, accessories, Turo vehicle rentals. We talk a little bit about ONVEC, getting your sales license, becoming a wholesaler in Ontario, host of things, usually car related, but sometimes I go a little bit of a tangent, but other things. It's just the nature of it, right? And I don't do any editing. And I'm not really going to be doing much in the way of fancy stuff as far as with cool cameras and microphones. You kind of get what you get. It's essentially an old Samsung phone, and that's it. So, but hopefully the content or the conversation, at the very least, is mildly entertaining, or there's some degree of knowledge there you can share. So, essentially, I thought I'd just have a little conversation about the right to repair. Because this has kind of come up in the feed a little bit. There's been a conversation there about it. So where are we at? So with the right to repair in Ontario, there's been some bills that have been put forward to kind of limit that. And at the same time, they haven't passed, but they always seem to come up every couple of years. It's like, oh, well, let's get back to this. The logic behind that doesn't make a lot of sense. Now, let me explain. So in order to get a good tradesperson, or in order to get somebody that's actually has an aptitude to repair items, or to physically build something, they have to start somewhere. Usually that's with repairing small appliances at home, doing automotive repair in the driveway, or building something like a 3D printer. Usually it's something along the lines of little baby steps, so you can kind of go, okay, I can now build something. I've had some previous successes. When I was a kid, raised by a single mom, very poor. Very poor. So anyways, we should actually talk about that someday. We should talk about expectations as it's related to familiar wealth. As in other words, what your background brings. And a lot of folks will harp on that a little bit and go, oh, well, you know, you didn't have anything. Well, that was kind of a silver lining to a certain extent. If my mom wasn't single and she was wealthy and it was a nuclear family, everything was perfect, I wouldn't get exposed to some of the things that I had to do in order to kind of just be a kid and survive. So I had to fix things. That was just the nature of it. There was no, oh, well, we'll take it to the repair shop, or, oh, the car's not running today. Well, we'll just get it towed to the shop and throw money at it. No. You had to fix it. Like that was it. And you had to fix it with what was available to you. And sometimes the repairs were not necessarily knowledge-based. Yes, the car worked. Great. Was it jerry-rigged? Yes. Do you understand the concept of how the system works and how you actually get it to be jerry-rigged? Yes, you figured that out. Congratulations. Was it perfect? No. But based on that, you were able to go back and repair the work that you did before to make it functional. Because you had the right to repair your own product. You could actually open up a manual. You could actually go, okay, I'm going to go to Haynes and I'm going to fix it myself. I'm going to give it a try, right? At that very least, you get the little incremental knowledge to be able to say to yourself, oh, I did that job. Maybe I can do the next job. Oh, I did that job. Now maybe I can do the next job. Because you build up confidence. Without the right to repair, you're not going to get a generation of kids, regardless where they come from in their background. So that doesn't make a difference. They're not going to have the access and the ability to actually physically go through something and try and find the problem and resolve the issue and correct it. Without that basic understanding or the ability to do that, you're not going to get a mechanic. You're not going to get an electrician. You're not going to get a plumber. So those are just the skill sets that usually get acquired by exposure. It's a gradual move into that field based on previous experience or previous exposure to things. You typically don't wake up one day and say to yourself, you know what would be really great? I haven't unclogged a toilet. I think I'll do that for a career. That doesn't happen. What normally happens is you come from a family where you've had to repair things. Where you go, okay, well, yeah, no, I can unclog a toilet. There's a job opening. Great. I'm desperate for a job. Maybe I'll do that. Then you become an apprentice. Then from becoming an apprentice, you go, well, I made some good money on that one. Next thing you know, 10 years later, you're a plumber. Like, that's just the nature of it. So in today's society, we need the right to repair. Like, that's just the nature of it. Proprietary parts, proprietary phones, proprietary this, proprietary that. You're shooting yourself in the foot. Again, you're holding yourself back. So if I can't get into the phone to fix it, or at least attempt to fix it, I'm not really going to appreciate your product. That's what it comes down to. I'm going to look at it and go, okay, it's disposable. It's not really a repairable item. Throw it out. Let's go to the landfill. Bye-bye. Where does it end up? China? No, it ends up in our landfill, right? It's just really annoying. Right to repair is very important. It's just one of those things that it gets tradespeople. It develops industry. It gets innovative thinkers. It creates jobs. It creates, lo and behold, businesses. Because you don't start up one day and go, you know what, I'm going to be a mechanic on Tuesday. It doesn't work that way. You're going to open up a shop on Thursday. No, you build up slowly to those things. They're based on experience. They're based on what you want to do. It's just the nature of it. So, your thoughts. I know it's not Turo related, but it kind of is in a roundabout way. For instance, I really can't just go and open up a car rental agency. In Ontario, there's rules, there's regulations, there's money that's need to be spent. The access is limited. I don't have that ability. I do have the ability to learn the business hands-on by going through Turo. I get to get a couple cars, maximum 4, learn the business, learn the trade a little bit, and if I go, hey, you know what? There's a business that's open. Maybe I will buy a Tilton franchise. Maybe I will buy a franchise that's in Thunder Bay or some small little rural community because it's available to me, and I can say to myself, you know what? I know the basics of it. I know enough to be able to run it. I know enough to be able to understand the finance. I know enough to understand that maybe that business model isn't going to work, or maybe that business model is underutilized. Maybe I can make it work. Maybe the previous owner has just been doing it for 30 years and has finally gotten to the point where, you know, it's bored them to death for the last 7. And maybe, you know, a little unrest we had for a little while was enough to push them over the edge and go, you know what, maybe retirement sounds pretty good. Maybe I would like somebody to take over my business. Maybe I like to sell it, right? Maybe that's someone out there right now doing that in their little head going, hey, I'm in the middle of a small market. No one's really going to buy it. No one's going to actually put an offer in on this space because they don't understand the idea of what the business is and how it works. Whereas I can kind of say to myself, you know what, I've been doing Turo. Maybe I'm doing it for 4 years. Maybe I finally get to the 4 cars. Maybe I've moved up a couple notches on the old ladder of vehicles. And maybe I've become an experienced host. And at that point, I would look and kind of go, okay, well, what can I do in a small market rental agency? I'm already in a small market Turo, so maybe that becomes available. But I wouldn't be able to do that without having that experience or the ability to move forward on it. It's a little frustrating, to be honest with you. Like, you look at it from that standpoint, you go, that's your right to repair right there. That's your right to be able to get into a business and work it slowly, to understand it. I wouldn't be able to do that without looking back at my childhood and go, oh, we had a 1984 Hyundai Pony. It was always broken. You know what I learned on that Hyundai Pony? How to do brakes, how to change a tire, how to change a starter, how to do an oil change, how to adjust points, which are completely useless now, how to set a choke, how to open up the butterfly on a choke, a whole host of stuff. If I didn't have that car or that access to that car as a child, and I'm talking small, I think I was 14, like I was really young, because single mom who had to commute to get to work, car has to run, open the book, figure it out. That's just the nature of it, right? Right to repair. That's my rant for 10 minutes. My apologies, it's in the car, kind of like the old man conversation going, to himself. I look less crazy when there's a phone on the dashboard. But anyways, if you could subscribe, that would be great. If you could do a little thumbs up, that would be wonderful. I greatly appreciate feedback. And if you're out there in Turo land, or you're doing little repairs on your own, or you're just starting out, you say to yourself, you know what? It's frustrating. I can't get a manual. I can't get the schematics on something because the proprietary nature of it. I like to hear about that. Talk to you later. Have a pleasant and enjoyable day.